Picture this: a dark, rainy night in West Philadelphia, the kind where the asphalt glistens like black glass and the streetlights flicker like they're about to burn out. Standing on the corner of 52nd Street is Tyreek Johnson, a 28-year-old black guy with a wiry build, a crossbody bag slung over his shoulder, and a cigarette smoldering between his fingers. Rain hammers down on his old gray hoodie, but he barely notices. He just finished a brutal 10-hour shift at Big Al's Auto, wrestling with a rusted-out '98 Ford Taurus for some twitchy white dude in a cheap suit who yelled about needing it yesterday but didn't even tip. Tyreek's bone-tired, his legs buzzing from standing all day, and all he's thinking about is getting to the SEPTA bus stop on Lancaster Avenue, hopping on, and making it home to his girl, Shanika, and their 2-year-old daughter, Layla. In his bag, a greasy work jumpsuit, a can of Miller Lite, and a pack of Chips Ahoy cookies for Layla. She loves dunking them in milk. He takes a drag from his cigarette, exhales a cloud of smoke into the damp air, and steps forward. That's when everything goes to hell. 2 blocks away, blue and red lights explode into the night. Sirens wail, slicing through the rain, and out of the darkness screeches a police Dodge Charger, its headlights blazing like twin suns. The car skids to a stop right in front of Tyreek, tires screeching on wet pavement, splashing water into his face. Both doors fly open, and 2 cops leap out like they're starring in some damn action movie. "Hands up! On the ground! Now!" roars one of them, a hulking white guy with a mustache straight out of the '80s, looking like he just downed a donut and a black coffee. Tyreek freezes. His cigarette slips from his fingers, hissing out in a puddle. "What the hell?" he thinks, but before he can even open his mouth, Mustache grabs him by the neck and slams him down onto the asphalt so hard the air whooshes out of his lungs. The second cop, younger, skinny, with shaky hands and wild eyes, yanks his gun from its holster and points it square at Tyreek's head. "Don't move, motherfucker!" he yells, his voice cracking with adrenaline. Tyreek's face down now, rain flooding his eyes, Mustache's knee digging into his back like it's trying to snap his spine. "I didn't do anything," he chokes out, but Mustache just presses harder, like Tyreek's some rabid animal that needs taming. Then it gets crazier. A third cop steps out of the Charger, a tall woman with a cold stare and short blonde hair pulled into a tight ponytail. Her badge reads Lieutenant Harris. She's got a radio in hand, muttering something into it, then drops a line that makes Tyreek's blood run cold. "Suspect in an armed robbery, black male, crossbody bag. Matches the description." Tyreek hears it and feels the ground drop out from under him, even though he's already on it. He's no robber. He hasn't touched a gun since he was 16, when his cousin Dre tried dragging him into some dumbass scheme with a pistol, and Tyreek bolted, swearing he'd never go near that life again. His bag's got a jumpsuit, a beer, and cookies. Not a damn weapon in sight, but these cops don't know that and don't seem to care. Mustache, O'Malley according to his badge, yanks Tyreek's arms back and slaps on handcuffs so tight the metal bites into his wrists. The younger cop, Evans, starts rifling through the bag, tossing stuff into the puddle. The beer can rolls across the pavement. The cookies turn to mush under the rain. "It's not me, I swear," Tyreek shouts, but his voice drowns in the sirens and downpour. Harris steps closer, eyeing him like he's a specimen under a microscope, and says, "You'll tell us everything at the station. Or right here if you want to play hero." Her tone's sharp as a blade, and Tyreek knows these cops have already made up their minds. Tyreek's no stranger to this, at least not in theory. He grew up in West Philly, where half his childhood friends are either locked up or 6 feet under. His mom, Mary Johnson, raised him and his 2 siblings alone on a janitor's paycheck, always drilling into him. "Keep your head down, son, and don't give 'em a reason." She said it when Tyreek was 10, watching cops beat his older brother Kevin for looking suspicious outside a corner store. She said it when Tyreek was 17, heading to his first protest after police gunned down his classmate for holding a phone they mistook for a gun. Tyreek always figured he'd dodge this kind of mess. He kept his head down, worked hard, paid bills, tried to be a good dad to Layla. But now he's eating pavement, a knee on his back and a gun at his head, and it hits him. Sometimes the reason is just your skin. Mally's not holding back. Another smartass from these damn blocks, he mutters, like Tyreek can't hear him. His voice is gravelly, laced with a faint Irish brogue that hints at South Philly roots. Evans, the rookie, looks fresh out of the academy, jittery as hell, like he's scared he'll get eaten alive if he doesn't act tough. He keeps tugging at his seatbelt strap and glancing at O'Malley for cues. Harris stands off to the side, jotting notes in a pad. Like this is just another report, not someone's life imploding in front of her. Tyreek racks his brain, replaying everything he's heard from his brothers and boys about these moments. Don't argue, don't yell, just do what they say. Rule number 1. But when you're 28, beat from a long shift, and getting your face smashed into the street for something you didn't do, that rule's damn near impossible to follow. Anger bubbles up in his chest like molten lava, but he swallows it. I was just going home, he says, soft, almost pleading. O'Malley snorts. Yeah, you all say that. Then he grabs Tyreek by the collar and hauls him toward the car. Evans trails behind, clutching the bag like it's the smoking gun of the century, even though it's still just a jumpsuit and soggy cookies. Harris checks her watch and says, "Let's roll, boys. We've got 3 more calls." They shove Tyreek into the Charger's back seat. The door slams shut, and the car peels out, leaving the puddle and scattered belongings behind. Inside, it smells like sweat, stale coffee, and a cheap pine air freshener. Tyreek's wedged against the door, hands cuffed behind him. The cuffs cut into his skin, but he tries not to shift. Don't draw attention. O'Malley's behind the wheel, throwing a glare in the rearview mirror that makes Tyreek want to disappear. "Listen, kid," he says, "if you're smart, this'll be quick. Tell us where the gun is, and maybe we'll let you go by breakfast." Tyreek grits his teeth. "What gun?" "I didn't rob anybody." O'Malley chuckles like it's an old joke. "Sure, and I'm Santa Claus." Evans, sitting next to Tyreek in the back, stays quiet, but his fingers tap nervously on his knee. Harris, up front, talks into her radio. "Suspect detained, en route to the 19th precinct." Tyreek tries to pull himself together. He knows the station could be worse. He's got no lawyer. Where's an auto mechanic making $15 an hour supposed to get lawyer money? His mind's spinning with Shanika, who's probably blowing up his phone by now, since he's late. Her last text, "Grab milk, Layla needs it for the morning." Now he's here, cuffed, with 3 cops who've already convicted him in their heads. But there's one sliver of hope. His phone's still in his back pocket. Miraculously, they didn't take it during the pat-down. Too rushed or too sloppy, he guesses. If he can reach Shanika, she could call someone. Maybe his brother Kevin, who knows a guy who used to be a lawyer. But how do you grab a phone with your hands cuffed behind you while the car's tearing through Philly's wet streets? He glances at Evans. The kid's a wreck, fidgeting with his seatbelt, avoiding eye contact. Maybe he's the weak link. Tyreek takes a shot. "Hey, man," he whispers, "you can see I'm not the guy, right? I got a daughter at home. I'm just a mechanic." Evans flicks his eyes over but says nothing, just presses his lips tight. O'Malley barks from the front. "Shut your mouth back there." Tyreek clams up, but his brain's churning. The car rolls into an industrial stretch, rain pounding harder, streets empty except for a few abandoned warehouses. He notices Evans turn to stare out the window at the blurry lights. Now's his chance. Slowly, carefully, he starts working his hands, trying to fish the phone from his pocket. The cuffs dig into his wrists, skin burning, but he clenches his jaw and keeps going. His fingers brush the edge of the phone when Harris suddenly twists around from the front seat. "What are you squirming for?" Tyreek freezes, heart skipping a beat. "Nothing," he mumbles, forcing calm. Harris narrows her eyes, staring him down for a tense few seconds, then turns back to her radio. Tyreek exhales. The phone's almost in his grip. If he can send one text, he might have a shot. Tyreek's fingers tremble as they curl around the phone. The cold, cracked plastic slick with sweat from his palms. The charger hits a pothole, jolting him hard against the door, and the phone nearly slips from his grasp. His heart's pounding so loud he's half convinced Evans, sitting inches away, can hear it thumping like a bass line. But the rookie's still staring out the window, eyes tracing the rain-smeared lights of North Philly, lost in whatever's rattling around in his rookie brain. Up front, O'Malley's humming. Springsteen, Born to Run. Off-key and grating, the irony so thick it could choke you given Tyreek's cuffed-up predicament. Harris, riding shotgun, mutters into her radio, "ETA 5 minutes to the 19th. 5 minutes. That's his window. 5 measly minutes before they drag him into the precinct, fingerprint him, snap his mugshot, and chuck him in a cell with no clear way out." He shifts his shoulders, trying to mask the movement as he eases the phone free from his pocket. The cuffs dig deeper, metal scraping raw skin, sending a jolt of pain up his wrists, but he bites down hard and keeps going. He's got one shot, and he's not blowing it. The phone's an old Samsung Galaxy, screen spiderwebbed from when Layla dropped it chasing bubbles in the kitchen last month. Tyreek fumbles blindly behind his back, thumb finding the power button by feel. It vibrates once, low battery probably, but still alive, and he prays the sounds swallowed by the rain hammering the car's roof. He can't twist to see the screen, can't risk tipping off Evans or catching O'Malley's eye in the rear view, so he relies on muscle memory. The lock pattern's simple: up, left, down, a jagged little Z he's traced 1,000 times. His fingers shake, slick with nerves, but he nails it, feeling the faint buzz of the home screen unlocking. Now the real challenge: texting blind. Shanika's his last contact. Her milk text came through at 9:47 p.m., just before he punched out at Big Al's. The dashboard clock glows 10:32 now. She's gotta be freaking out. He's never this late without a call. He taps where he thinks the Messages app sits, misses once, twice, curses silently, then feels the soft haptic pulse of it opening. Typing's a nightmare. Cuffs clinking faintly, thumbs clumsy, but he pecks out, "Cops got me. Not guilty. Call Kev." Autocorrect could turn it to gibberish, and he can't check, but he jams send anyway. The phone buzzes. Message sent. He exhales, a whisper of relief, and starts sliding it back into his pocket, careful not to let it clatter. That's when Evans snaps out of his daze. "What's that noise?" he says, voice high and jittery, like a kid spooked by a shadow. Tyreek freezes mid-motion, phone halfway tucked, hands dripping sweat. "What noise?" he mumbles, playing dumb, but his pulse is a jackhammer. Evans squints, leaning closer, craning his neck over Tyreek's shoulder. "You got something back there?" O'Malley catches it in the mirror, his bushy brows knitting. "What's he doing, Evans? You letting him pull some shit?" Harris twists around, her icy blue eyes pinning Tyreek like a bug on a board. "Hands where I can see 'em," she snaps, sharp and cold. Tyreek's stomach plummets. He shoves the phone the rest of the way into his pocket, hoping it's deep enough, and lifts his cuffed hands as high as they'll go, barely clearing his lap. "I ain't got nothing," he says, forcing his voice steady despite the panic clawing up his throat. Harris stares, unblinking, then jerks her chin at Evans. "Check him again." Evans fumbles, tugging his gloves tighter like he's stalling. Okay, yeah," he stammers, then starts patting Tyreek down. Shoulders, ribs, thighs. Tyreek holds his breath as the rookie's hands sweep near his back pocket. Evan's fingers graze the phone's bulge, linger for a heartbeat, then slide past. "Just the cuffs," he says, sitting back, swiping sweat off his forehead with a shaky hand. Tyreek nearly sags with relief. Either Evans is too green to clock it or too nervous to snitch. O'Malley grunts, unimpressed. "Better not be lying, kid. I hate surprises." Harris turns back to the front, muttering, "Keep your eyes on him, Evans. He's twitchy." Tyreek stares at the seat ahead, chest tight, mind screaming. Close call. Too damn close. The Charger weaves through the industrial maze of North Philly. Warehouses looming like ghosts in the rain. Neon signs flickering over empty lots. Tyreek's brain's on overdrive. Shanika's got the text, assuming it went through clean. Kevin's his lifeline. Big Bro's been in and out of the system since they were kids, but he's street smart, knows how to hustle. Last Thanksgiving, Kev bragged over turkey about some ex-lawyer pal, Marcus, who beat a felony rap like it was child's play. If Shanika can track Kev down, he's probably at his girl's place in Germantown. And Kev can call Marcus. Maybe they can pull some strings before Tyreek's buried in the system. But that's a chain of miracles, and Tyreek's not exactly feeling blessed right now. The precinct lights bloom ahead as they hit Girard Avenue, a squat brick fortress with barred windows and squad cars parked haphazardly out front. His gut twists. He's driven past the 19th 100 times. Never thought he'd be the one dragged inside. O'Malley swings into the lot, tires crunching gravel. "End of the line, tough guy," he says, cutting the engine with a smirk. Harris hops out first, radio crackling, her boots clicking on wet pavement. Evans struggles with his door. Nerves, probably, then yanks Tyreek's open. "Let's go," he mutters, grabbing Tyreek's arm and hauling him out. The rain's eased to a misty drizzle, but it soaks through his hoodie anyway, chilling his skin as they march him toward the double doors. Inside, it's a fluorescent nightmare. Buzzing overheads, chipped linoleum floors, and a stench of bleach mixed with despair. A desk sergeant, bald and paunchy, his guts spilling over his belt, looks up from a stack of forms. "What's this one?" he drawls, barely glancing over. "Armed robbery suspect," Harris says, voice crisp and clipped. "Caught him 2 blocks from the scene." Tyreek's jaw clenches. "I didn't do shit," he says, loud enough to echo off the walls. The sergeant snorts, rolling his eyes. Yeah, save it for the judge, pal." Booking's a blur, fingerprints smudging ink on his hands, a mugshot where the flash blinds him, his name barked like an order. O'Malley's off to the side, cracking wise with another cop about Philly's finest clientele, while Evans hovers nearby, shifting his weight like he's dying to bolt. Harris vanishes into an office, leaving Tyreek with the pair. They rip open his bag, jumpsuit, dented beer can, soggy Chips Ahoy, logging it like it's evidence in a damn cartel bust. "Where's the gun?" O'Malley asks, leaning in close, his coffee and gum breath hot on Tyreek's face. "I told you, I don't have one," Tyreek says, locking eyes, refusing to flinch. O'Malley smirks, a predator's grin. "We'll see about that." They shove him toward a holding cell, gray concrete walls, a scratched-up metal bench, and a drunk dude slumped in the corner, muttering curses at nobody. The door clangs shut, and Tyreek sinks onto the bench, burying his face in his hands. His phone's still in his pocket. Pure dumb luck they missed it twice. But he can't pull it out, not with a camera winking red from the ceiling. Time drags like molasses. The drunk, wild gray hair, one shoe gone, starts belting Sweet Caroline, voice slurred and cracking, then passes out mid-bum bum bum. Tyreek's mind's a tornado. What's Shanika doing? Did she see the text? Is she blowing up Kevin's phone yet? Is Layla asleep or awake and crying, wondering where Daddy is? He sees her little face, those big brown eyes, that gap-toothed grin when she hugs him, and it twists a knife in his chest. He was supposed to be home by now, popping that Miller Lite, maybe firing up Bluey on the TV with Layla snuggled against him. Instead, he's caged, cuffed, accused of jacking some spot he didn't even know was hit. He's seen this play out too many times. Kevin's 3-year bid for possession that wasn't his, Cousins locked up on flimsy charges, half the guys from his old block gone before 25. Cops say armed robbery, and it's your word against a badge. No gun? They'll find one? No witnesses? Too bad. Tyreek's not blind. He knows the deck's stacked, especially for a black mechanic from West Philly with $47 in his bank account and no lawyer on speed dial. The cell door clanks open, jarring him upright. It's Evans, alone, clutching a clipboard, his Adam's apple bobbing like he's nervous. "Need your statement," he says, quieter than before, almost human. Tyreek sizes him up. Kid's barely 23, buzz cut fresh, still got that soft jawline under the cop bravado. "I already told you," Tyreek says, slow and deliberate. "I was walking home from work. That's it." Evans scribbles, pen scratching paper, then flicks his eyes to the camera, then back. "Look, man," he says, voice dropping low, "if you've got an alibi, now's the time. O'Malley's pushing this hard." Tyreek blinks. "Wait, is this kid throwing him a bone?" "I was at Big Al's till 9:45, he says, leaning forward. "Ask Al. He'll vouch." Clocked out, headed straight for the bus. Evans nods, jotting it down, but won't meet his gaze. "Okay, I'll put it in." He turns to go, then hesitates at the door. "Just don't piss off O'Malley, all right? He's old school." The door shuts, leaving Tyreek staring at the concrete, a flicker of hope warring with dread. Evans might be soft, but O'Malley's a bulldog, and Harris runs cold as ice. Al's solid, grumpy old bastard, but he likes Tyreek, though he's half-blind and hates cops, might clam up just to mess with them. An hour drags by, feels like a lifetime. The drunk's hauled out, replaced by a wiry kid with a black eye and a busted lip, muttering about bullshit weed charges. Tyreek tunes him out, pacing the cell, 3 steps one way, 3 back, cuffs rattling faintly. What's the robbery even about? Harris said 2 blocks from the scene. What scene? 52nd Street's dicey. Dealers on corners, pawn shops that don't ask questions, but he didn't hear shots, didn't see anyone peeling out. Liquor store? Gas station? Carjacking? He's got no clue what he's fighting. He replays the night, punching out at Big Al's, waving bye to Al through the garage window, dodging puddles on the walk to Lancaster. Nothing weird, no chaos, until the Charger screamed up. His gut says set up, but why him? Wrong place, wrong time, wrong skin? The door swings open again. Harris this time, flanked by a new cop. Stocky Latino dude, buzz cut, bored smirk, badge reading Sanchez. "On your feet," Harris says, voice flat. Interrogation. Tyreek stands, legs stiff as boards, and they slap fresh cuffs on. Tighter, if that's possible. They march him down a hall, past a vending machine humming with half its lights dead, into a room ripped from a cop show. Scarred table, 2 chairs, a big-ass mirror he knows is one-way glass. Harris sits. Sanchez leans against the wall, arms crossed. "Let's keep this simple," Harris says, flipping open a manila folder. 9:15 tonight, a liquor store on 50th and Spruce got hit. Guy with a gun, black male, 20s, crossbody bag. Clerk says he bolted east. We nab you 2 blocks east at 9:50, matching the description. Explain that. Tyreek's head reels. 50th and Spruce. 10-minute walk from Big Al's, tops. I was at work till 9:45, he says, voice steady despite the sweat beading on his neck. Left the shop, went straight for the bus stop. Didn't go near no liquor store. Harris arches a brow, skeptical. Work, huh? Anyone see you leave? Al did. Tyreek says. And the tourist guy, maybe? He was still bitching when I bounced. She scratches a note, then slides a photo across the table. Grainy security still, a blurry figure in a hoodie, crossbody bag, gripping what might be a pistol. This you? She asks, voice neutral but edged. Tyreek squints. Image is dog shit. Could be anyone with a pulse. No, he says, firm. That's not me. Harris leans back, arms crossed. Clerk says it is. Picked you out of a lineup 10 minutes ago. His stomach flips. Lineup? I wasn't in no lineup. Harris smirks, just a twitch of her lips. Photo lineup. Your mugshot from tonight. Congrats, you're famous. Sanchez chuckles, a low rumble, and Tyreek feels the room shrink. Set up? Has to be. Clerk's shaken, cops are lazy. He's the fall guy. I want a lawyer, he says, hands trembling but voice hard. Harris shrugs, casual as hell. Public defender's coming. Sit tight. She scoops up her folder, nods to Sanchez, and they leave him there, the hum of the lights drilling into his skull. Back in the cell, Tyreek's pacing again. 3 steps, turn. 3 steps, turn. The wiry kid's sprawled on the bench now, snoring through his busted lip. Tyreek's mind's a war zone. A clerk ID'd him from a blurry photo? That's flimsy as hell. Any lawyer worth a damn could shred it. But flimsy don't matter when the system's got its jaws locked. His phone's still in his pocket. Battery's gotta be dying, but he can't risk it. Not with the camera and the kid. He needs Shanika moving, needs Kevin pulling every favor he's got. No priors, clean record, but armed robbery is heavy. 5 years minimum, 10 if they stick a gun charge, more if they stack it. Layla'd be in grade school, calling some other dude Dad by the time he walked free. The precinct's alive outside. Phones ringing, cops joking, someone yelling about a missing stapler. Tyreek drops onto the bench, head against the wall, eyes shut. He's not big on God. Church was Mom's thing, but he mutters a prayer anyway. Her old words, Lord, keep me in your hands. He's mid-sentence when the door bangs open. O'Malley storms in, face red, grinning like he just hit the lotto. Good news, smartass, he says, voice dripping venom. We found the gun, dumped in a trash can on 51st, right on your little stroll. Prints are coming back soon. Tyreek's heart stops cold. That's not mine, he says, but O'Malley cuts him off, stepping close. Tell it to the judge, punk. You're cooked. He slams the door, the clang echoing like a gunshot. Tyreek stares at the wall, mind blank, terror sinking in. Planted? Framed? Or just the worst luck in the world? He's got no answers, no moves left, and the clock's ticking down. Tyreek sits frozen on the cell bench, O'Malley's parting shot. You're cooked, echoing like a gunshot in his skull. The wiry kid with the black eye groans, mutters, damn pigs through a busted lip, then flops back into a raspy snore. Tyreek doesn't hear him. His wrists throb under the cuffs, raw and bruised. His hoodie clings damp and cold from the rain, and his phone, his one fragile thread to the outside, sits heavy in his back pocket, taunting him under the camera's unblinking red stare. A gun in a trash can on 51st, prints pending. That's not just bad luck. That's a guillotine blade hovering over his neck. Evidence means a conviction, means years ripped away from him and Layla, means Shanika raising their girl alone in a world that doesn't give a damn. He's no angel. Dodged trouble as a teen, ran with some roughnecks before he straightened out. But he hasn't touched a gun since that night at 16 when Dre waved a rusty .38 in his face, grinning like a fool. Tyreek walked away then, swore he'd never go near that life. Robbery? Never. Yet here he is, trapped in a concrete box, the system coiling around him like a snake. The precinct buzzes beyond the bars, radios spitting static, boots clomping on linoleum, a coffee machine gurgling like it's choking on its last grounds. Tyreek's eyes trace the spiderweb cracks in the wall, counting them to keep his sanity from fraying. 1, 2, 3, 4. His mind drifts to Shanika. Did she get the text? Is she blowing up Kevin's phone yet? He sees her pacing their tiny apartment on Haverford Avenue. Hardwood floors creaking under her steps, Layla asleep in her crib with that purple blanket she loves, the one with the frayed corner she rubs against her cheek. Shanika's a warrior. Grew up in Nicetown, dodging worse than he ever did. Lost her brother to a drive-by at 19. But this? Cops snatching him off the street, pinning a felony on him out of nowhere? She'd be a mess, calling everyone she knows. Maybe even Big Al, if Kevin's not answering. Tyreek latches onto that image, her fire, her fight. She's his anchor, his shot at clawing out of this nightmare. Minutes bleed into hours, or maybe it's just his head messing with him. The wiry kid snorts awake, scratches his scabby arm, and launches into a slurred rant about crooked-ass cops before passing out again. Tyreek's pacing now, 3 steps one way, 3 back, cuffs clinking faintly with each turn. His phone's still there, battery dying slow, but he can't risk pulling it out, not with that camera and a cellmate who might snitch for a lighter sentence. He replays O'Malley's words. Gun on 51st, Prince coming back. Planted? Framed? Or just the universe screwing him? He's got no priors, no record. Clean slate, 3 years at Big Al's, taxes paid, rent scraped together. But armed robbery with a gun is a freight train of a charge. 5 years minimum? 10 if they stack enhancements? 15 if they claim intent. Layla'd be in middle school, calling some other man Dad by the time he breathed free air again. The thought chokes him, a fist around his throat. The cell door screeches open, hinges wailing like a banshee. It's not O'Malley's smug mug, or Harris's icy glare, or even Evans's twitchy rookie face. A new figure steps in. Short, black woman, mid-30s, braids swept back tight, wearing a rumpled navy blazer and hauling a beat-up leather briefcase. "Tyreek Johnson," she says, voice sharp but warm, cutting through the stale air like a lifeline. He nods, slow, guarded. "I'm Aisha Carter, your public defender. We need to talk." She strides in, the door slamming shut behind her, and drops onto the bench across from him, briefcase thudding between her scuffed sneakers. The wiry kid grumbles, shoots her a bleary glare, then rolls over muttering about damn lawyers. Aisha doesn't flinch, pulling out a yellow legal pad and a pen with a chewed-up cap. "They're saying armed robbery, liquor store on 50th and Spruce. Gun found nearby, clerk ID'd you from a photo. That the rundown?" Tyreek swallows, throat dry as sandpaper. "Yeah, but it's all bullshit. I didn't do it." Aisha scribbles fast, not looking up. "Walk me through your night. Every damn detail. Times, places, names, smells, whatever you've got." Tyreek takes a shaky breath, spills it. Clocking out at Big Al's at 9:45, the Taurus guy's nasally whining about his car, the walk down 52nd with rain soaking his sneakers, the Charger roaring up out of nowhere. "I was just trying to get home," he finishes, voice cracking on the last word. "Got a daughter, Layla, 2 years old. I don't mess with guns. Haven't since I was a kid." Aisha's pen freezes mid-stroke, her dark eyes snapping up to his, sharp and searching. "Good. Alibi's our foundation. This Al, he's solid?" Tyreek shrugs, wincing as the cuffs tug his wrists. "He's old as hell, half-deaf, hates cops, but he knows me. Been at the shop 3 years, never late, never missed a day." She nods, jotting more, her handwriting a messy scrawl. "They're rushing this. Guns too neat, smells like a setup. Clerk's ID from a blurry photo? That's tissue paper in court. We can fight this." She leans in, voice dropping to a fierce whisper. Here's the play. They've got no weapon on you, no cash, no mask, nothing but a vague-ass description and a clerk who's probably pissing himself. The gun's their big card, but if those prints aren't yours, it's circumstantial garbage. Trouble is, they want this wrapped fast. O'Malley's a rule bender. Harris covers his ass. We've got to move quicker. Tyreek's chest tightens, a vice squeezing his ribs. What about the prints? Aisha's lips thin out. Lab's clogged. Could be ours, could be tomorrow. If they're clean, we're golden. If they're not, she doesn't finish, but her eyes say it. Frame job or not, prints could sink him. Tyreek nods, slow, dread pooling in his gut. The door bangs open again. Evans, pale as a ghost, sweat beading on his buzz-cut scalp. "Counselor, interrogation room. Now," he stammers, clutching a clipboard like a shield. Aisha stands, smoothing her blazer with a flick of her wrist. "Stay cool," she tells Tyreek, low and firm. "Say nothing unless I'm there." They cuff him again, third pair tonight, metal biting into already torn skin, and haul him back to the box. O'Malley's sprawled in a chair, boots propped on the table, grinning like a shark. Harris stands by the one-way mirror, arms crossed, face unreadable. Aisha slides in beside Tyreek, radiating "don't fuck with me" energy. "My client's got an alibi," she launches, no preamble. "Big Al's auto, clocked out 9:45 p.m. Verify it." O'Malley snorts, loud and wet. "Yeah, we'll hop right on that. Some grease monkey covering for his buddy." Harris cuts in, voice flat as asphalt. "Guns in evidence. Found on 51st, block from where we nabbed him. Clerk's rock solid, says he's our man." Aisha doesn't flinch. "Clerk saw a blurry hoodie and a bag. Half of Philly fits that. Where's the weapon from the scene? The cash? You've got Jack tying him directly." O'Malley leans forward, eyes glinting. "We've got a gun with prints coming, sweetheart. That's a lock." Aisha's gaze turns to steel. "Call me sweetheart again, officer, and I'll have your badge in front of IA by sunrise. Prints aren't here. You've got a hunch, not a case." Tyreek watches, jaw slack. She's small, barely 5'2", but she's tearing into O'Malley like a pit bull on a leash. The cop's face flushes beet red, veins bulging, but Harris raises a hand, cool as ever. "Enough. We'll check the alibi. Sit tight, Johnson." They drag him back to the cell, Aisha trailing close. "They're fishing," she whispers as the door shuts. "Hold on. We're close." Time stretches. Hours, maybe, though the cell's clockless void screws with his head. Tyreek paces, the wiry kid griping about his own arrest. The camera's red light a constant jab in his peripheral. He's clinging to Aisha's words, "If they're clean, we're golden," when his phone buzzes. Once, twice, a faint hum against his thigh. He freezes, heart lurching. Batteries on fumes, but someone's reaching him. Shanika? Kevin? He can't check, not here, but it's a spark in the dark, a lifeline pulsing. Then the precinct erupts. Shouting explodes down the hall, cops barking, radios blaring, a door slamming somewhere. The cell door flies open and Evans stumbles in, eyes wild, sweat streaking his face. "Johnson, up, now!" he snaps, fumbling with cuffs. Tyreek stands, dazed, as Evans yanks him out, dragging him down the corridor. Aisha's there, mid-argument with Harris, who looks like she's chewing nails. "What's going on?" Tyreek croaks, throat raw. Aisha spins, face grim but lit with a fierce glint. "Prince came back, not yours. And your brother's outside with a real lawyer, not just me. Cops are losing their shit." The lobby's a war zone, uniforms darting, phones ringing off hooks, a janitor mopping up spilled coffee like it's just another night. Through the glass, Tyreek spots Kevin. Tall, dreads swept back, roaring at the desk sergeant beside a sharp-dressed black dude in a tailored suit. Marcus, no question. Shanika's there too, eyes swollen red, clutching her phone like a weapon. "Ty!" she yells, voice slicing through the din, raw and desperate. His legs nearly give out. Evans uncuffs him, muttering "procedure" under his breath, and steps back, looking like he'd rather be anywhere else. Aisha claps Tyreek's shoulder firm. "You're clear, for now. They'll scramble, but we've got the upper hand." Harris storms over, jaw tight, radiating fury. "Prince didn't match," she says, each word clipped. "Alibi checked. Al swears you left at 9:45. Timestamp on the shop's security backs it. Clerk's backtracking now, says he's not 100%. O'Malley looms behind her, fists clenched, face a thundercloud. "This ain't over, punk," he growls, voice thick with venom. Aisha steps up, unflinching. "It is tonight. Release him, or I file for false arrest by dawn." Harris locks eyes with her, a silent showdown, then jerks her head at the sergeant. "Process him out." Paperwork drags, signatures on triplicate forms, a clerk mispronouncing his name, his stuff dumped back in a plastic bag minus the beer, confiscated for policy. Tyreek stands there, numb, as Shanika rushes him in the lobby at 3:17 a.m., throwing her arms around him, sobbing into his chest. "I thought they had you," she chokes out, tears soaking his hoodie. Kevin grips his shoulder, a vice of relief. "Marcus pulled strings. Owes me big from 18. You're good, lil bro." Marcus, suit pristine despite the hour, nods coolly. Case was shaky. Photo ID's trash. No direct evidence. They'll drop it unless they dig up more, which they won't. Outside, the rain's gone, leaving a crisp bite in the air. Tyreek sucks it in deep, free but wired, adrenaline still pumping. Shanika clutches his hand, Layla's purple blanket tucked under her arm. She'd brought it, a piece of home in the chaos. "What happened?" she whispers, voice trembling. He shakes his head, bitter. "Wrong place, wrong time, same old shit." Kevin curses, loud. "O'Malley's a bastard. Word is, he's planted shit before. Got a guy locked up on a fake dime bag in 22. You're lucky, man." Marcus cuts in, calm but firm. "Luck and leverage. Al's tape was gold. Clerk's waffling kills their story. They've got nothing to stand on." They pile into Marcus's sleek BMW. Tyreek, Shanika, Kev, headed back to West Philly. Tyreek pulls his phone. 3% battery, a flood of texts from Shanika. "Where are you?" "Called Kev, he's coming. PL's be okay." One from Kev. "On it, hold tight." He smiles. Faint, drained. Layla's waiting, probably dreaming of cookies he never got to bring. The ride's quiet. City lights streaking past. Shanika's head on his shoulder. Kevin up front, cracking dark jokes about O'Malley's mustache. Marcus drops them at their building, a tired brick walk-up on Haverford, and peels off with a nod. "Stay clean," he says. They might circle back. Inside, the apartment smells of lavender, Shanika's candles, and home. Layla's asleep in her crib, tiny chest rising, blanket clutched tight. Tyreek stands over her, legs shaky, watching her breathe. Shanika wraps her arms around him from behind, silent, her warmth grounding him. "I called Al," she murmurs. "He cussed out some cop on the phone, said you're his best guy." Tyreek chuckles, weak. "Old man's crazy." She squeezes tighter. "Kev got Marcus there in an hour. Said he'd burn the precinct down if they didn't let you go." Tyreek turns, pulls her close, buries his face in her hair. "I'm here," he says, voice rough. "I'm here." Sleep doesn't come easy. Every creak's a siren, every shadow a cop, but he's free. Morning breaks gray, Layla's giggles waking him as she toddles in, blanket dragging. He scoops her up, holds her tight, Shanika frying eggs in the kitchen. The system bent, damn near broke him, but he slipped through. O'Malley's out there, grudge festering, and the precinct might sniff around again. Marcus warned they hate loose ends. But today, Tyreek's home. That's enough. For now.